Hello there, Stacy Paulin here again at Life Executed. I hope this video finds you well. It's a cloudy, rainy day today. I'm sitting in my office space just listening to the birds, and it's been a pretty overcast day today, but beautiful day nonetheless. I wanted to talk today about my path to financial independence and the vehicle that I'm using and have been using for the past 2 years to get there. As I mentioned in my previous video, I am a real estate investor, and I promised that I would go into a lot more detail regarding my investing principles, my investing strategies, what specifically am I doing with real estate in order to achieve FI. And so we started investing, my husband and I, we started investing in real estate at the tail end of at the tail end of 2016. By February, well, by December, we had already acquired our first rental property. And by the end of 2016, we were under contract for our second rental property, subsequently closed on that property and had that property rented out by February of 2017. And for the remainder of 2017, we did not buy any more properties. I think we were just trying to learn the ropes, trying to catch up on finances because, of course, um, when you're buying real estate, so much capital is going into acquisition and sometimes renovation that you're a little cash poor. So we took the year off, the remainder of 2017 off, just to stabilize those units. Both of the properties are single family homes, so one unit, one family per home, and they're both local to us here in Atlanta. Literally, both of the homes we can get to in less than 15 minutes. So they're very close, literally going to and from the grocery store, going to the check on our P.O. box, going out to grab a bite to eat. I can drive past the property, glance at the yard, glance at the property, take a look at things, and make sure that things are being maintained well or not. And it's just a convenient way to start. I didn't want to invest too far away from home, especially with it being our first couple of properties. I wanted something close so that we can check on it on a regular basis. So 2017, we took some time off. Unfortunately, earlier this year, one of our tenants passed away. Young person, didn't pass away in the house, but had a heart attack in the house and was transported to the hospital and subsequently died in the ICU. And that was a very strange call to get from my property manager, to find out that our tenant had passed. And because he was in such dire straits financially, um, we felt it was the right thing to do to give his family enough time to not only grieve, but to take care of his last expenses and get all of his things in order to either disperse amongst the family or to discard. So the property was vacant for about 2 to 3 months. We had to pay our own mortgage for about 2 to 3 months. That's a big hit when you're talking about investing. Vacancy will kill your bottom line. Renovations will kill your bottom line. And unfortunately, that house was left in not so good of shape. The house was in great shape. Because of the circumstances, the tenant left behind a lot of stuff. The family just could not clean the house out, clear the house out appropriately. There were clothes, there was furniture. I remember the first time I walked into the house after finding out that he had passed and the 2, 3 months had passed and we were ready to turn the property over. I walked in and I had to announce myself, like, hello, is anybody home? Because the house looked like somebody was still living there. That's how furnished it was, that's how full of stuff it was. It took us about a good 2 to 3 weeks to get everything cleared out, carpet cleaned, repainted, and ready to put back on the market. And within a week of putting it on the market, it was rented. And so we're back to 100% vacancy. So that's the short of what's been going on for the past year and a half. By the end of this year, we'll make 2 years of real estate investing for us. So we're still a little wet behind the ears, but we certainly have, jumped in head first, and I'm in love with real estate. So why real estate? Why did we choose that as a vehicle? I'll tell you that when I was looking at investing opportunities, there were lots of things that came up. Owning a laundromat, obviously owning rental properties, fixing and flipping properties, stock market investing, 401k, opening up Roth IRAs and things like that, having my company, my job at the time match my contributions, lots of different things. And I actually took an online course, it was a free online course, and I believe it was on YouTube. Someone put up a webinar, it was like a series of webinars over the course of hours. I can't even tell you how many hours long it was about stock investing. And I was thinking, we should probably go that route. And then it dawned on me after going through the webinar, reading some books on stock investing, buying mutual funds, and trying to pick stocks that I just wasn't really confident in it. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. It wasn't an investment vehicle that was familiar to me. And I felt like it would be such an uphill battle to learn enough to be comfortable investing for the long term in stocks. Over the course of learning about different types of investment vehicles, I came to settle on real estate. I found a book, actually, one of my favorite books that I've read about, not specifically real estate, but investing and financial independence and financial freedom and frugality. I came across the book and it's titled The Millionaire Next Door, one of the most popular books that you hear about within the FI and FIRE community, and certainly very popular amongst real estate investors. And the reason why is because towards the end of the book, after the beginning of the book kind of sets up the life of a millionaire, what a true millionaire looks like. It's not the guy with the flashy Mercedes and the Rolex watch and the Gucci shoes and the $5,000 suits. It's usually the guy that's right next door to you with a 1994 Toyota truck, that he drives to and from work every day. He or she has a modest home, $250,000 home, nice lot. They've got maybe a handful of kids or maybe no kids at all. Very unassuming. You would never, ever, ever in a million years guess that this person is loaded, has all kinds of money. It really changed my perspective on what it takes to become a millionaire and what it takes to stay a millionaire. And towards the end of the book, they talked about the majority of millionaires within the last, I don't know how many decades, self made millionaires and first generation millionaires have come from real estate investing. And I said, you know what? We just purchased a house, a couple of years ago. And I felt comfortable looking at real estate online and picking out the things I liked about it and the things I didn't like about it, and picking location, knowing what to look for in terms of location and what makes a place a good location, what makes a place a bad location. Um, I feel comfortable researching real estate, and maybe I can transition that knowledge of real estate to rental properties, such as something that I understand. And it's been a pretty smooth transition. Yes, there are quite a few things that you have to learn to master um, real estate investing. Real estate investing is something totally different than buying an owner occupied home, but the fundamentals of the home are still the same. You've got four walls, you've got a roof over your head, you've got a kitchen, some bathrooms, you've got some flooring, some paint, and you've got some mechanicals in there. All that stuff comes together to make up a home. And whether it's a rental property or a residential property that you occupy yourself, everybody can understand the makings of a house. And you just have to tweak a few things to understand what makes a house a good rental home. So once I was introduced to the idea of real estate and I wrapped my mind around it and said, this is something that's more familiar to me, certainly more familiar to me than stock investing, I pushed stock investing to the side and said, I won't be doing that. Probably need to focus on real estate. I pitched the idea to my husband, and he was on board, and we were gone. We were able to accumulate some money, and literally within a few months of making the decision to invest, we found the first property and we closed on it, and that was that. Real estate investing, I think, is a great vehicle for achieving financial independence for a lot of reasons. Number one, tax sheltering of money and tax savings. I can't think of any other investment vehicle that gives you the tax benefits that real estate does. Depreciation that you get to write off on your taxes, all the mechanicals and all the maintenance and capital expenditures and the property management and all the things that go into managing and taking care of a rental property can be written off on your taxes. If you learn upfront to treat your real estate business as a business, because that's exactly what it is, you can reap so many benefits from tax savings. So taxes, 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 taxes. It's probably the top way that millionaires stay millionaires in the real estate space is understanding tax strategy, tax savings, and maximizing those savings. Everyone's familiar with the quote from Warren Buffett when he says that he pays less taxes than his secretary does. And when you think about the multitude of money this man has, even though I'm sure his secretary gets paid quite well, that just doesn't add up. Why is he able to save so much on taxes and the secretary isn't able to save much on his taxes? It just doesn't make any sense. And that's the reason why they say the rich become richer and the poor become poorer. So tax savings, tax strategies is one thing. Appreciation of property, accumulation of assets. Um, every single time we buy a property, we become wealthier. It adds to our bottom line. Yes, we do use leverage on our properties, and that's one of the other benefits is that if I were to go buy a laundromat, I have to have the capital to buy that laundromat. Today, right now, I have to put the money on the table and buy the laundromat. And after the laundromat is purchased, all the things that I do to put in to make that laundromat run well, efficiently, is coming out of my pocket, so to speak. With real estate, I put 20% down of the purchase price and maybe even the rehab costs of this investment. And the bank takes care of everything else. The bank essentially partners with me, and I'm the one that reaps all the benefits from owning that property. It's just a wonderful investment vehicle in that way. I could go on and on and on, but those are some of the reasons why I chose real estate investing as opposed to other forms of investing. And again, we've been investing for about 2 years. It'll be 2 years at the end of this month. So far, we have acquired, like I said, last year we took time off. We didn't invest in anything last year, but this year we just last week closed on our third door, and the end of this month we'll close on our first duplex. So we'll have 5 units by the end of the month. I'm really, really, really excited about that. I am investing in single family homes, but I'm moving slowly but surely into multifamily. Again, the duplex property at the end of this month will be the first. It certainly will not be the last. I think multifamily is a fantastic strategy if you want to go that way. Certainly, um, there are some differences between investing in single family homes as opposed to multi-unit homes. But the benefits are fantastic for multifamily. There are benefits to single family homes as well. So you really have to weigh the pros and the cons for you depending on the type of investing that you want to do. That's one of the big changes over the past couple of years that I've noticed in terms of my focus in real estate. I love the single family home. I understand it. I think they're awesome investment vehicles. But if you want to maximize um, your investing endeavors and you want to advance or accelerate the timeline in which you can achieve financial independence and financial freedom, multifamily will certainly get you there faster. I think that's just the truth. Um, in order to invest in real estate, you must have some type of foundation. My foundation is my career. You have to have a financial foundation. My foundation is my career in part. Um, the reason why I say in part is because no matter how much money one brings in, the most important thing is how much money one keeps. You can be a multimillionaire and bring in $100,000 a month, but if your expenses total $999,000 a month, or sorry, $99,900 a month, and you only have $100 left at the end of the month, you won't be able to invest. Um, If someone, on the other hand, if someone brings in $8,000 a month and their living expenses are only $3,000 a month, wow, they've got $5,000 in excess a month that they can throw off into these investments. And that is the key. So it's not only having a career that can support you financially and support your investments financially, but also living a frugal life so that the two can work. You almost like you're investing on both sides. We call it defense and offense. So offense, I'm bringing in as much money as I possibly can, and I'm playing defense every month by making sure I hold on to as much of that money monthly as I possibly can. And so the excess can go towards purchasing more real estate in my case, or investing in stocks in your case, if stocks and bonds and mutual funds are what you want to do. Um, I make a great living. My husband makes a good living. Our money together, because we live below our means and we're able to save quite a bit of money every month, we are able to shuffle all that money into our investments. And it makes a huge difference in terms of pay down of credit lines that we use to obtain our properties. Sometimes we do have a HELOC. I'll talk about the HELOC in another video because it's a really strong strategy to use to invest. We have credit lines and business credit cards. We do have an LLC, and we use all of those credit lines to help accelerate, like if we're doing a rehab or we have to replace something. But if we have to pay that money back eventually, right? Where does that money come from? It comes from our investments, right? Because we're making money from our investments. But it also comes from our own personal money. We're able to shuffle that money into um, the credit lines as we use them. And then once the balance is back to zero, we can use them again. So it's just a continuous cycle. Money's never really being held on to, it's being saved from one area of life to be shuffled or focused into another area of life. And in my case, it's real estate. Um, so that's what I'm doing right now. Real estate is, I think, one of the best ways to achieve financial independence. We are on track to um, retire and be done reaching financial independence by, I'll say, 2 to 3 years from now. At that time, will I retire? Probably not. I'll probably just cut back the amount of time that I'm working. And then eventually, once I start traveling quite a bit and doing the things that I really want to do, I won't be able to do the job and do all of the things that I want to do outside of my career. So I'll probably have to, at that point, fully retire. And like I said in the last video, once I retire, that's it. I won't be able to go back. So it's kind of scary to me. But I'll leave you with some advice for people who are interested in investing in real estate. Number one, if you're thinking about it, get started today. Do the research that you need to do to feel comfortable enough to make the leap. Don't delay. The longer you delay, the longer you delay your financial independence, your goals. Um, don't let fear stifle your don't let fear stifle you. Don't let fear get in the way of you doing what you know you need to do. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would not have purchased the home that we're living in right now. I probably would have purchased a multifamily home and lived in one of the units and rented out the other units on an FHA loan. Stayed there a year, moved out, bought another duplex or triplex or something. Do the same thing, live in one unit, rent out the other units. A year later, move out, do the same thing as many times as I felt comfortable. And then, once I was bringing in a sizable amount of money from those multifamily units, then go buy my home on another FHA loan. Um, I can talk about that in more detail. It's a term called house hacking. You can type that into YouTube and you can learn much, much more about house hacking. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would go that route just to accelerate the timeline even faster, even more. Um, don't feel like if you live in a market where multifamily is not a popular, there aren't a plethora of multifamily buildings, that you can't invest. People invest in all types of things. You can start with a single family home. You can start with multifamily if you want to, but you can start with a single family home. Um, there are lots of markets all over the country where you can find deals. Don't let anybody tell you different. Deals are subjective, though. You have to figure out what a deal means for you, and just like I had to figure out what a deal means for me. And then once you find those numbers, you stick to those numbers. And if the numbers just don't work, you don't buy. Point blank, period. If the numbers don't add up, you don't buy. It's really important that you don't become emotionally involved in the investing process. Again, if the numbers work, the location's fine, low crime rate, plenty of tenants. It's a tenant friendly state that you're in. If all the ducks are in a row, you got strong property management in the area that can manage the homes for you if you need that. Pull the trigger and just do it. And you will make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. You will make mistakes, um, but recognize that you can work your way through those mistakes. Ask the important questions. Have mentors around you. Um, have talk to people who are doing it and have been doing it for a long time. People who have been in the up markets and the down markets, and see what advice they have to offer you. Don't feel like you have to pay a guru tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn how to invest in real estate. It is a lie. It's a fraud. You do not have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for someone to teach you how to invest in real estate. Okay? Get on the internet, get on YouTube, check out biggerpockets.com. I hang out there quite often. Get into the forums, get on YouTube and educate yourself. Go to the library, get books. Go to Kindle, buy books. You will have to invest in this education in some level, in some way, and learn all you can. Really pour yourself into it, because at the front end, if you know more, you're going to make smarter decisions. The more knowledge that you have, the more educated your decisions will be. But don't throw your money away to a guru. Take that $10,000 and put it towards the down payment on a house. Okay? I'm Stacy Paulin. I hope you enjoyed this video. One of many. I hope to see you next time. Take care.